So, picture this. I live on a private mountain road. It's steep, it's narrow, and frankly, it wasn't built for anything heavier than a pickup truck. We all know this. It's kind of an unwritten rule up here. My property is at the very top, so I know every twist, turn, and weak spot on that road better than anyone. One day, I get a notice from our beloved Homeowners Association. They're replanning to pour a new concrete pad for the community mailboxes at the base of the mountain. Okay, fine. Mailboxes need a solid footing. I get it. But then I read the part where they mention a full-sized cement truck. We'll be making the delivery. My jaw just about hit the floor. A full-sized cement truck. On our road? Absolutely not. I immediately fired off an email to the HOA board. I was polite, but firm. I explained in great detail why bringing a massive XLA vehicle up that road was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad idea. I described the tight hairpin turn about halfway up, the soft shoulder that's prone to giving way after a rain, and the sheer incline that would test the limits of any heavy truck's engine and brakes. I even attached photos I'd taken over the years showing erosion and previous minor washouts. My suggestion was simple. Have smaller trucks make multiple trips, or, even better, mix the concrete on site at the bottom. It would be more work, sure, but it would be safe. The response I got back was, well, it was exactly what you'd expect from an HOA that thinks it knows everything. It was a single, condescending paragraph from the board president. A guy named Gary. Gary, who lives in a flat, easy-to-access house at the bottom of the development, and probably hasn't been up my end of the road in years. He basically said, "Thank you for your concern, but our professional contractors have assured us it's perfectly feasible. They've assessed the situation and are confident there will be no issues. Professional contractors, right." I'm sure they glanced at it from the main highway and said, "Looks fine to me." I knew right then and there this was going to be a disaster. I replied one last time, "Okay, Gary, just so we're clear. When this goes wrong, I'm not helping, and for the record, I told you so." A few days later, the big day arrived. I was working from home, and around mid-morning I heard it, a low, grinding rumble of a heavy-duty engine straining against gravity. It was a sound that did not belong on our quiet mountain. I went to my deck with a fresh cup of coffee and my phone, ready to document the inevitable. The sound got louder and louder. Then came the beeping of the truck, reversing, followed by more engine groaning, and then silence. A beautiful, profound silence. It was the kind of silence that's so complete you know something is very, very wrong. I gave it about 10 minutes, just to savor the moment. And then I hopped in my ATV and drove down to take a look, and there it was, in all its glory. The cement truck was wedged, and I mean properly wedged, in the tightest hairpin turn on the road. The driver had tried to navigate it, realized he couldn't, and in his attempt to back down, the rear wheels had slipped off the asphalt and sunk right into the soft shoulder I had specifically warned them about. The massive truck was now tilted at a terrifying angle, its giant mixing drum looking like it was about to roll down the mountainside. The road was completely, utterly blocked. No one was getting up, and no one was getting down. The driver was on his phone, looking absolutely panicked. I just slowly cruised past on the grassy verge, gave him a little nod, and said, "Told ya, it was a tight corner." He just stared at me, defeated. I drove back up to my house, feeling a sense of vindication that was so pure, so perfect. I spent the rest of the day watching the chaos unfold from my deck. First, the construction foreman showed up in his pickup, took one look, and started yelling into his phone. Then Gary, the HOA president, arrived. I could see him from a distance gesticulating wildly, his face turning a lovely shade of crimson. It was better than any reality TV show. They had to call in a massive heavy-duty tow truck. 2 of them, actually. A recovery rig. Getting those up the lower part of the road without them also getting stuck was an operation in itself. The whole process took the entire day and well into the evening. They had to close the main road at the bottom for a while. It was a complete circus. The aftermath was even better. The HOA not only had to pay for the cement truck company's mistake, but they also had to pay the exorbitant bill for the heavy-duty recovery service. And the best part, that section of the road was now completely destroyed. The asphalt was cracked. The shoulder was a muddy pit. They had to hire a separate crew to come in and repair the road, which cost them a small fortune. All of this could have been avoided if they had just listened to the one person who actually lives on and uses the road every single day. The final bill was thousands and thousands of dollars, way more than it would have cost to just mix the concrete at the bottom of the hill like I suggested. A week later, there was an emergency HOA meeting. I, of course, attended. Gary stood up and tried to explain the unforeseen circumstances that led to the unfortunate incident. I let him finish his little speech, and then I raised my hand. When he called on me, I just smiled sweetly and said, "Gary, I have the emails, all of them, where I predicted this, down to the exact spot on the road. Maybe next time, the professional contractors should consult with the actual residents." The silence in that room was golden. Gary didn't even look at me. He just mumbled something and moved on. From that day on, whenever a project is proposed, they make a point of asking for my input. I guess sometimes the best way to make a point is to just sit back, grab some coffee, and let people learn the hard way. And you know what? Those new mailboxes look great. Totally worth it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Karen Conflict for more. See you next time.